I'm still thinking about the fourth. I think you're 1 for 5 on 4th and 1s this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to start out with one of those, but is there a consistent thing in that you see?
Yeah, we're making missed assignments. I mean, oh, absolutely. Missed assignments, and on that 4th and 1, we ran it 2 plays earlier. Love the call. Like I said, I told y'all Saturday, I'd do it 100 more times. I mean, you still force your guys to make a play. They still have to make a play, and we had the edge sealed off, and we missed two key blocks out there on the edge. I mean, you take a chance, you take a gamble, and hey, I didn't come here to lay up. We come here to win a ball game, and that's what we felt like we had to do. And shoot, that's just, you just got to make sure you execute, and we didn't execute. A lot had to do with the fact that they were
sealed, but that's where the problem
Yeah,
is.
well, no, we had the edge sealed off the tackle. The right tackle had the edge sealed,
Okay.
but the way they spun it, the Sam linebacker, they bounced him out and slipped over the top of Dwayne Allen.
Okay.
And then the corner ran the bubble, and Trad actually trips before he gets to him, and then they had us right there 2-on-1 on that.
Okay.
And then they had an inside guy that came free and was running down the line, but we would have still gained the yard on that if we would have just got those number 7 in their corner. If we'd have got those, we'd have been in good shape. But again, it's it all looks if you had to do it over again, would you have called a different play? Well, I don't know if I'd have called a different play. I'd have dang sure told our guys, we had to make sure that we can't let a guy come over top of us. But you do and you don't. You live and you learn. And I love it. I mean, that's you don't play aggressive, and had a chance to put the game away right there, and we didn't. But that's not the first 4th down that we've missed too. And so at some point in time, you kind of got to look at it and go, okay, look, we're talking a good game over there on the sidelines. Hey, coach, let's go for it. Let's go for it. But at some point in time, you got to produce, and there's no question on that. It was a joint effort. I mean, our guys were confident, and coach, let's do it. We're moving the football. Let's do it. And you got to show trust in those guys as well too.
Were there times in this game where you sped it up, like snapping the ball even faster? Because I lost track.
I tried to, but really, I was kind of disappointed early in the games. I felt like that our tempo wasn't where I wanted it to be. I mean, Taj was getting caught up early in the game, not necessarily. He was reverting back a little bit, not looking at me as quickly as I wanted him to, even though we still literally had the ball out there for 94 snaps, 86 that were recorded. We had some penalties, we had a timeout, but I mean, we were out there for 94. And so, our tempo, you could definitely tell our tempo was affecting those guys up front. Even our offensive line was saying that.
Coach, you talked about not laying up, and you certainly didn't on the 3rd and 4 where you hit Watkins for the big touchdown. What was, what was the thinking there?
Well, again, it was, you always want to get a feel for your players. And the series prior to that, Sammy calls me over and says, Coach, listen, on the next 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, they're expecting a slant. I can get them on a double move. And I said, well, okay. So and I'd already had it written down on my board and circled. And I said, look right here, Sammy, we're thinking alike. I circled it, and it just so happened that was it. And it was, that was definitely a credit to him being, just talks about his maturing process and being able to recognize things like that and be able to come to you and have confidence. Say, Coach, hey, listen, this is what I'm seeing. And as a coach, you want to trust your players.
You never had a true freshman suggest a play call?
No, not like that. But I trust him.
In the past, one of the criticisms around here has been maybe when Clemson gets a lead, they tend to play not to lose, and that was certainly an example of playing to win.
Yeah. Well, and I've said it since I've got here in January. One thing Coach Swinney is going to have to do with me is tell me whoa, not go. And, he'll never have to tell me go, 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 Chad. He may have to tell me whoa, 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 slow down. But, those are communication that he and I have on the sideline quite a bit, especially late in the game. I said, Coach, I'm not gonna play conservative here, and unless you want me to, just we need to talk and you need to communicate with me. And but that's just, that's our offense. That's what we do. And like Bart asked the question on the 4th down. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it isn't, and you just have to be able to live with those things.
How is Ellington right now?
Andre, actually, he felt better yesterday than he did at any point in time last week. So I think playing in the game, stretching it out, you could definitely tell it wasn't the 100% Andre that we've seen. So I expect him, we'll manage his reps this week. He'll work out all week. We'll manage them, but he should be 100% by Saturday, without a doubt.
What kind of progress or lack of has Bellamy made in just absorbing the offense, all those details?
Well, we try, we try to give him his package, and then we try to keep growing him, and it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. We had him out there on one of our plays, and we motioned him out, and he's ran the play 1,000 times in practice. He was supposed to rail up the sidelines, and he undercuts us, and we have 2 guys on an undercut dig route. Nuke was one of them, and Mike never runs that route. And so those are just things you live with, and you have to understand as a young guy like that, it's a process. And so it's a work in progress, and you try to say, okay, well, we know where we are with him. Now let's keep just growing his little package in, and as the season goes, hopefully he'll continue to get better with that. He definitely provides a spark on the field for us, but there's other things he's got to get more ingrained to. He's relying a lot on the quarterback to tell him what he's doing every play, and that's okay, but that eventually gets old, and Taj's got a lot of other things he's got to worry about, and so Mike is coming on. We hope to keep pushing him, keep growing him, and he's working hard. So.
Did Taj get banged up on Saturday though? Knee or ankle or anything?
He did. He did. He got he got hit a little bit in the pocket, and kind of got a high calf bruise, and we put ice on it. He was good to go. He didn't even come in for treatment yesterday, so I was expecting him to be pretty sore today, but he was good. He'll be ready.
It was right there towards the end of the game.
It was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was right there at the end.
You expect Howard to go this week?
We do. He's going to work out today. They're going to really push him today and see how he is in the cutting, and I expect him to be back and ready to roll, which will be good.
Sorry. Chad, does going on the road affect the aggressive nature at all? Or, I mean, it probably shouldn't, but is it just human nature that it might?
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can look at it that way. I think you've got to do what you do. I know they're going to do what they do, and they've been doing it. I think we've got to just keep worrying about getting better, and playing more physical. That's one of the things that I keep hearing. That the last time Clemson went up there, they got hit in the mouth, and how quick could we get back to the bus type of deal. And but that's something that I know Coach Sweeney's going to talk to our players about, and we're going to continue to talk about. Is we know they're going to play physical, but that's something we take great pride in as well.
Yeah, on Saturday, you talked a couple of times about how excited you are about the way they bought into what
we're doing.
doing. How long did it take before there was that sort of level of trust that, okay, this is different, but it's going to work?
Well, I just think them getting to understand my personality, and seeing, they had to experience some success. They had to experience not only success against an opponent, but success against our defense. They had to have some success through spring ball and see some things as this thing grows. So it really didn't take too long. I mean, I was just, I just wanted an opportunity, and I wanted them to give me an opportunity to prove it to them. But I think when you look at what they were like last year offensively, they were ready for anything. They were hungry for anything. And so if I would have came in here selling the wing tee, and selling it with my personality, they would have bought into the wing tee, you know, and got everybody on board. But so I think it was just a fact of them being hungry. They were hungry for something and something to get their identity back.
From a personal standpoint, do you ever stop and think, 2 years ago I'm at Lake Travis, and this week I'm in a battle of top 15 teams matching wits with Bud Foster?
It's pretty tough. And, you know, pretty tough to stop. I don't have time to stop and think about that. You know, it is. You know, we keep talking about that. It's amazing run and very blessed and you know, going up against a very talented Florida State defense last week, and our guys performed and had success and should have had more. But you know, yeah, all that. One of these days when I'm sitting on the beach somewhere, I can look back at that and enjoy those times. But right now, there's no time to rest.
What we did in South Bend last year,
Huh?
which is a storied place,
Mhm.
did you allow yourself to think about that at that time, or when you came out of it with the success you had, you felt, I can do this?
Well, we got there the day before, and I know Coach Graham took us. We went to the stadium, and of course I had Chandler with me, and we were able to run around on the field a little bit, and you know, kind of get all that out of the system the day before, and look around and think about all the you know, the history that's came out of South Bend, and then of course obviously after the game, you know, you look at it and go, wow, this is pretty remarkable. But you know, between, you know, when the whistle starts and the clock starts running, it doesn't matter if you're playing in Lake Travis or South Bend, Indiana, or Death Valley. I mean, football's football.
And the point being that you'll be going into a place that has a history of being hostile, and of course you've heard all that stuff. So this is now, it's just another football game for you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it has to be. You can't get. There's so much work. They're too well coached. They're too talented. They've got a great history about themselves. You know, with you know, they've won, I don't know how many, 12, 15 straight ACC games. I mean, you can't get caught up in all that. You know, you got to get caught up in, you know, we've got to get better. We've got to keep pushing ourselves. We got to keep pushing our players, pushing our coaches. We've got to get better. And as long as we continue on the path that we're on, then everything works itself out.
Some coaches are real good and relish the opportunity of us against the world kind of things when they go on the road. Some coaches are very good on the road in those kinds of environments. Have you always been that kind of guy?
Well, you know, you have to take that approach when you get there. I mean, you know, you got to make sure you've got all the other little things taken care of with your players, but you know, you got to understand it's a journey, and this is just one more step along that journey. And you know, our players will be well prepared. They'll be excited. They'll be reminded over and over again about you know, about who's going to play more physical, and about you know, what happened in '06 when they went up there. I mean, it's in the history that Virginia Tech has had in the ACC since they've joined. I mean, they've kind of been the kingpin. They've kind of been running it, and you know, and they won it last year until someone knocks them off. I mean, that's kind of the approach you have to take with it, and that's kind of what we've done each week this year. Coach Wendy's done a good job of that with us, with our players. So this is just one more game. There's going to be a lot bigger games down the road, but this is the biggest game this week because this is the only one we can control.
You talked on Saturday about how much you measure how the unit's doing based on third down conversions. Are you surprised how productive you guys have been so far in that area? I mean, it's kind of striking.
Well, we spend a lot of time throughout the course of the week on third downs. We do. You know, one area that I want to get better at is third and short, which you would think that would be your higher percentage. And we've got to get better in that. And it kind of goes into our third and short to fourth and short range. So those are two areas that we've got to get better at, and you know, and we're going to. Very happy, very pleased with the fact that the way we are converting our third and mediums to third and longs. At your money downs is where you make your money at, and you know, you win ball games in that regard, and I think that's what you've seen over the last few weeks.
Bud Foster's kind of run that 4-4 more type deal. Is that what you're still seeing on?
Oh yeah, they're going to do what they do. They don't care who's coming in there. they're going to do what they do, and you know, there's not going to be one, you know, they'll make a few adjustments here and there, like all coaches do, but you know, they're not going to let one player or one team come in and take them out of what they do. I mean, they're going to do all their different type of coverages and disguising things and playing aggressive, moving their fronts, but that's what they've been doing. That's what they did all the way back, and since they've incorporated all this, and very well coached, very sound. And, you know, there's a reason why they're in the top 10 in the country in total defense every year.
Yeah, one or two players that kind of concern you, or you say, yeah, we've got to watch them?
Well, I think they got several players that concern me. They got a corner that's really well, a really good ball player. They've got a couple of defensive linemen, a linebacker that runs well. And they've got some guys that, you know, they're athletic and they move well. And but again, you know, we ID these guys. We understand what they are. But again, it comes back to we've got to worry about the Clemson Tigers, and we got to make sure that we're getting better. And you know, we'll have these guys. They'll be prepared. It's going to be a great heavyweight fight, and you know, it's going to be who can withstand each other's punch through the whole course of the game.
Left guard, where do things stand this week, particularly if David comes back?
Well, we don't know right now. You know, when Davey comes back, I mean, it's still going to be wide open with him and Brandon battling it out. You know, we saw some good things last week, but still, you know, to a point right now to where it's a solid position, no, absolutely not.
How do you feel about the line's overall physicality, especially after the last couple
You know, I
of
think
weeks?
we're getting better in that regard. You know, there's still some times here and there but we are getting better. They have responded to the challenge and I'm pleased to see that. We got to be able to obviously, you know, convert on our short yardage. All that's it's not all on the offensive line there. And like I said, that 4th and 1 should have been out on the edge, taken care of. But they are getting better, and I'm pleased with that. We've just got to get better as a core group up front. It's, you know, you're getting, you know, 4 of them are playing good and one will have a bad play. Then you'll have 4 more play good and another one will have a bad play. So we got to get that core group really kind of locked in and kind of dialing them up. And but they're working hard, and I've told them how much I appreciate the challenge, the responding to the challenge I gave them.
Any concerns about how your young guys will handle the atmosphere out there?
No, I'm not concerned about that. I mean, it's going to be a crazy atmosphere, just like it is here, and you know, we'll make sure we're practicing with crowd noise and all that. And we've been doing that since camp, and again, you know, if you want to have a championship caliber ball club, and you want to talk about it, then you got to win games. You got to win on the road, and I mean, this is our first test. This is what we've talked about. This is, you know, our goals are to be a championship caliber ball club. Well, okay. Well, we've proven that we can play at a certain level at home. Now we've got to take that to the road and play on the road.
In your system, how much can the crowd noise affect communication?
It shouldn't affect us any. The way we do everything with our counts and how we do our motion, it shouldn't affect any.
Yeah, what happened on that play where Hawkins was all by himself out the play, going over that snap?
Well, we were all trying to holler to snap the ball, and everybody in the stadium started hollering, snapping it, and their band was blaring, and Taj was trying to get the snap count, and then Dalton was telling him, hey, look, the band's playing, we need to go silent, snap count, and the whole bit, and Taj is like, I almost snap it, and that's what happened with it. It was one of those deals.
So the noise got him more than anything else?
No, they were communicating. No, Dalton was telling Taj, he turned back and looked at Taj and said, hey, look, let's go silent count here. And when he turned back around, Taj was hollering out, no, snap it. And Dalton wasn't going to snap it till we started our silent count. So.
Like a keyword in that situation.
Yeah.
Are you one who still doodles through the season?
Oh,
The
yeah.
plays and such?
You bet.
So, I'm thinking you're blessed with a lot of toys to play with.
Mhm.
Do you still think, hey, Sandy's a guy that we could do this with, or Duke, or I mean, do you still sitting around?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we try to figure out ways to create matchup problems. That's what you're after. That's what you want. And there's no question about that. We constantly do that, and again, we've got things that we still haven't shown, and you know, we've got to make sure that we progress at the rate we want to progress at.
Do you feel like
Yeah.
you're progressing at a rate where you can expand some things and throw in some wrinkles now?
Yeah, I do. I do a little bit. You know, we still got a lot of things in some areas we got to get better at in what we do before we start really expanding on it. I mean, you know, again, it keeps going back. We got to worry about ourselves, worry about how we practice, and getting these guys ready to go and preparing them mentally. It's more about how we prepare than how many plays you add.
You wake up in the middle of the night and go, wait a minute.
Yeah, I always
Run
keep a
down.
notepad by the side of my bed, and I'll write something down. I always do that.
Yeah.
Something may hit me in the middle of the night or in the mornings or whenever.
Ever done it on a napkin in a restaurant or something, and something occurred to you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. You put it in your pocket. Hope you don't wash it. So, but yeah, you sure do.
Chad, you've seen lots of defenses try to combat. Was basically a quick pass offense that has a variety of people to throw to. You've seen it a lot. You don't know what he's going to do this week, but what are some of the typical things you see defensive coordinators do to?
Well, you got a really good idea of what they're going to do. Again, you're not going to intimidate Virginia Tech. It doesn't matter what kind of offense we're going to run. You know, Coach Foster's seen everything, and you're not going to intimidate those guys. And that goes back to what we were talking about. You know, you got to just get better. You got to get better at execution. And you know, they're going to do what they've been doing and what they're going to continue to do. He'll mix up a wrinkle here and there. He'll bring pressure and try to force you into some things. You know, they're going to play Virginia Tech style defense, and that's what they've been known for.
Mm-hmm.
And Bart, I can't see them change anything for us.
But bringing pressure against somebody who gets rid of the ball quick usually doesn't get you much.
No, I mean they'll try to bring pressure and force you to throw your hots and some empty stuff, or you know, they may try to do some of that on you. But you know, we try to get the ball out as quick as we can, and you know, they'll try to take the underneath stuff away, try to take some of your quick passing game away by the way they'll do their coverages, and so you got to be able to exploit what's the next step out of that.
Was there a chance to get Joe Craig in the game Saturday, or is he still trying to pick things up?
Both. I mean, he you know, he got in for a snap, and he's you know, he's got to keep progressing, and I think you'll see Joe, you know, be able to come in and help spell a little bit for Sammy, and but you know, how many snaps at this point, I don't have a clue on that. I mean, I would. You know, we know who our starter is in Sammy, but Joe's obviously a guy that can come in and help. Adam can continue to help. But without a doubt, yeah.
Do you see any change in how defenses are dealing with buckets?
Well, they're trying to, you know, you're seeing a lot of them trying to obviously know where he's at on the field at all time. You'll see a lot of them trying to double him, high-low him, as far as in and out him. When you do that, somebody else has got to be open. So, you know, there'll be some things that you have to do to try to take advantage of that with Sammy and to get the ball to somebody else.
How do you coach Taj on a mistake like that when he made coming out of halftime, which is really sort of just an instinct play trying to get rid of
You know, he was doing what he was coached to do. And, you know, when he was trying to throw the ball away, he's trying to make a play there to get the ball out, which we talk about all the time. Not taking a sack, you throw the ball away. He's stumbling. He's lost his balance. At that point, you know, you just hope that, you know, he just goes down with it, is done with it. But, you know, when nobody hollering and screaming at him, I patted him on the helmet and I said, you know, it's one of those things. Coach Sweeney did the same thing. And, hey, look, we got a lot of football left here to play. And we got to respond and regroup. And you have to shake this. And, you know, last spring, earlier this year, that would probably affected Taj for 2 or 3 series. But, you know, where it only affected him for about 2 or 3 more plays. You know, because he came back out that next series and pulled a ball he should have gave. And then when he pulled it, he had a chance to get the ball out on a bubble throw. So those are things that, you know, but after those 2 or 3 plays, boy, he settled back down and here he went again. And that's what you like to see out of your leader and out of your quarterback. I mean, he was good. I mean, he was good in that regard, that nothing affected him. I mean, it was, once he settled down, he was back in his Taj of old.
Coach, like you said yesterday, Nuke was a little beat up. Are you concerned?
No, I mean, we're going to watch his reps this week and see. We'll see how it goes. Nuke is a guy that has to, he is a rep guy. He's got to get practice. There's no question about that. It's just hard to set out and play in a game like this. So, we'll evaluate him and his status by Tuesday or Wednesday and see where we are with him.
Are there still enough bodies even without Bryce McNeil? Nuke kind of limited? Or?
Well, I think so. I think Martavius played well. I think he did a lot of good things, and we just hope to keep getting him better as well with all these other guys.
What's your greatest concern at this point in 4 games?
What's my greatest concern right now? Just understanding. I don't know when the last time these guys have been 4-0 is. And we've had some success offensively. I'm not going to let them get complacent on me. I can promise you that. Because we can click the film on real quick and show that we're far from where we want to be. But there's a lot of. With that being said, look what we've done to this point. I just imagine if we decide that we want to play and everybody's on the same page for 4 solid quarters, what can we do? You got to understand. I mean, these guys are 4 games into this offense, and where we're at this point is ahead of schedule. But I'm not going to allow these guys to think that they've arrived yet, because we haven't. We're far from that, and we're going to continue to work them hard and practice hard and practice fast, and we're going to hold them accountable. And but the thing they're allowing us to do is they're allowing us to coach them and coach them hard.
I think after a second week, you said you're only using about 50% of your offense. Is that what percentage?
Well, we're probably up to 60, maybe a little over 60% of it, 65, and we're really expanding on it now, and kind of you're starting to see a few things, and with Taj running the ball some, and but we still got to get. There's some things that we got to get correct before we advance on anymore.
Todd, what's the balance when you mentioned Taj running the ball? What's the balance between exploiting an opportunity versus exposing your quarterback?
I think it depends on the game. I think it depends on the game. I think if you're in a battle for your life and it's who do you want to carry the football, or a critical situation, do you mind getting your quarterback hit, and depending on the game, depending on the situation, absolutely not. We can do whatever it takes to win. And I think as the season goes, and each game is important, and you got to pick and choose without a doubt.
What's your target success rate on 3rd down conversion?
Well, I mean, what our WHIT chart, and our WHIT chart is what it takes to win, is you want to be about 45%. Championship caliber teams are usually executing at about 45% on 3rd down efficiencies.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it, Coach.
You bet.
And guys, Philip Bryce is here, so you'll have him shortly.
Any thought on sending Taj over to Jack Leggett?